Somewhere in the lower Omo Valley, a woman wakes before sunrise and begins grinding sorghum by hand. The stone she uses is worn smooth from years of the same motion, pulled forward, pressed down, pulled back. Grain becomes powder. Powder becomes the day's first meal. No alarm went off. No notification pulled her out of sleep. The rhythm of this day is set by light, livestock, and the needs of the people immediately around her. This is the Omo Valley, one of the most ethnically dense river corridors on the planet, where over 40 distinct ethnic groups live within kilometers of each other, roughly a dozen defining the lower basin alone, each with their own language, ritual, and identity. Red earth baked hard by equatorial heat. A river sustaining the same family networks for centuries. The air smells like wood smoke, cattle, and dry clay. The Mercy live here. The Hamar. The Suri. And it's 2026. None of these communities are sealed off. Trade happens. Government officials pass through. Tourists arrive with cameras. Some have left for education or urban work, and returned, becoming the community's bridge between both worlds rather than a casualty of either. Not because they failed out there. Because something here held more weight than what the outside offered. But calling it a simple choice misses the point entirely. What's actually unfolding is a negotiation, ongoing, unresolved, and entirely on their own terms. These communities aren't frozen. They're deciding. Constantly. Which parts of the outside world to absorb, which to reject, and what the cost of each decision actually is. So the real question isn't whether these people know what the modern world looks like. It's what they understand about it that makes them stay. That answer is more layered than you'd expect, and we're about to get into it. The day here doesn't start with a decision about what to do. It starts with what needs to be done. By the time the sun clears the valley ridge, the Hamar are already moving. Men check cattle, not as a chore, but as daily accounting. In this community, cattle aren't just livestock. They're currency, bride price, social status, and survival resource, providing milk and blood during dry seasons when nothing else is available, all walking around in the same animal. A man who knows his herd knows his place in the world. That's not a metaphor. That's how identity stays organized across generations. Women move with equal purpose. Among the Mercy, morning means water, carried in clay vessels from the river, balanced on heads across terrain that would challenge most people empty-handed. Children follow closely, learning the weight before they're old enough to carry it. Nobody explains the lesson. The lesson is just living. There's no separation between work and culture here. The way a Hamar woman styles her gaska, ochre-dyed hair twisted with butter and ash, signals marital status and community role simultaneously. The way a Suri man holds his walking staff during conversation communicates rank without a word spoken. Meaning runs underneath everything. Among the Hamar, the most significant moment in a man's life isn't birth or death, it's the bull jump. To enter adulthood, he must run across the backs of 7 to 10 castrated bulls, for consecutive times, without falling. No second attempt on another day. What looks like spectacle is a precision social mechanism. It draws a line between boy and man that the entire community witnesses and holds permanently. Every habit, every ritual, every daily rhythm has been tested across generations and kept because the alternative carried a cost someone once paid. Which raises a question almost nobody asks: what does it actually cost to stay? Quick one: if this is the kind of content you want more of, hit like. And drop your country in the comments. Genuinely want to know where this is reaching. Zoom out far enough and these communities become symbols. Zoom back in and they become people. A Hamar elder interviewed in the Omo Valley was asked what he thought about the outside world. He'd seen trucks. He'd watched tourists photograph his village. His answer wasn't romantic or defensive. He said something close to, "The people out there seem very busy, but I'm not sure what they're moving toward." That's not naivety. That's a different framework for evaluating progress. A young Mercy woman described watching tourists arrive with cameras, pointing at her face, her lip plate, her home, and feeling simultaneously seen and completely invisible. Documented but not understood. That distinction matters, because it captures something these communities navigate constantly: the outside world's attention without the outside world's comprehension. Then there's the Surrey father who walked 2 days to reach a regional town when his son fell seriously ill. He used the clinic. Accepted the treatment. Then I walked back. He didn't relocate. He extracted what he needed and returned to the system that made sense to him. Not contradiction, pragmatism operating inside a clear set of values. Here's the twist most documentaries never reach: the greatest threat to these communities isn't their refusal of modernity. It's the outside world's refusal to leave them alone. Land acquisition by state-run agricultural developers along the Omo River has displaced over 200,000 indigenous agro-pastoralists from their traditional grazing lands. The Jibe 3 dam permanently stopped the Omo's annual floods, the same cycle the Mercy, Caro, and Dasanek built their entire farming calendar around for centuries. The negotiation these people are engaged in isn't just cultural. It's a fight over physical survival conducted quietly, mostly out of frame. They're not frozen. They're not naive. They're under pressure, and they're still standing. Which makes the final question not about them at all. So here's where this actually lands. We came into this asking why these communities stay. Why, with full awareness of what exists beyond the valley, people continue organizing their lives around cattle cycles, ritual, and land. The answer, it turns out, isn't stubbornness or isolation. It's something closer to clarity, a precise understanding of what holds a community together, and an unwillingness to trade that for something untested. That's not a primitive impulse. That's a sophisticated one. What the Mercy, Hamar, and Surrey are protecting isn't just tradition for tradition's sake. It's a complete system, identity, economy, spirituality, and social structure woven so tightly together that pulling one thread doesn't reform the fabric. It unravels it. They know this. They've watched it happen to communities around them. The modern world tends to measure progress in addition: more technology, more connectivity, more speed. These communities measure it differently. In stability. In continuity. In whether your grandchildren will still know who they are. You don't have to romanticize that to respect it. And maybe that's the real contrast worth sitting with, not between their life and yours, but between two completely different definitions of what a life well organized actually looks like. Neither has the complete answer. But one of them has been quietly field testing theirs for centuries. If this made you think differently about what we call progress, you're not alone. In our previous video, we explored secret communities, the tribe that banned clocks, calendars, and outsiders, a community that made an even harder choice, and paid an even steeper price for it. And in the next story, we go deeper into another hidden world most people will never hear about. It's closer to home than you'd expect.